Hello there everyone, here we are with an Hour of Devastation draft. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to go ahead and dive right in, relatively new to the format, so let's see if we can both learn something here together. Looking at our rare, we've got a Pride Sovereign, 2/2 for 3 mana, gets +1/+1 for each other cat you control, and if you're playing white as well, then it can pretty easily generate an army of cats with lifelink that grow the Sovereign itself. So I don't know how unbeatable this is as a bomb, but it seems pretty solid, especially if you can pair it with some sweet cat action later. Besides that, Angel, the God Pharaoh, Ominous Sphinx, Ambuscade. I really like to wield this Ambuscade. I don't know how likely that is, but that's what I'll be keeping my eyes open for. We've got Grind to Dust. This is pretty great, actually. Even just the black, the first half of an Aftermath card. Grind, put a -1/-1 counter on each of up to 2 different creatures. And then the Aftermath for 4, 1 white and 3 colorless, exile any number of target creatures that have -1/-1 counters on them. So if we're playing like a green-black deck, there's definitely the chance for spreading -1/-1 counters and then exiling some things with Dust. It could be like green and black and then splashing white for the Sovereign and for the Dust as well. There's another Angel, also a Bane Whip Punisher, 3 mana for 2/2 again. When it enters, put -1/-1 counters and sacrifice it to then probably kill that creature or something else that we've grinded already, or ground. And then finally, Dauntless Aven, Scrounger, Sandblast, a couple of other playables. I'm going to take the Aftermath card here though. I think it's very strong. And yeah, even if we're only playing green and black with a touch of white, I think we can make it work. Leave to Chance, not quite as strong, just lets you save some things, return permanents that you own to hand, and then you can discard any number of cards to draw that many back. Aven of Enduring Hope and Oketra's Avenger, these are 2 of the better white commons here. So we might be taking one of those 2. Carrion Screecher, Hope Tender, actually isn't that bad either. A couple of options actually. I think we want to be closer to like an Exert deck, so maybe we're playing green-white, as was the initial plan, splashing black for grind. Not quite as good as the other option, but I think I like Oketra's Avenger better than the Aven here. Although Hope Tender being a 2/2 for 2 is also quite solid, and then you can always just use it to fix your mana if you've got things that tap for multiple colors. I think I'm just going to take the Avenger here. I like it better than the Aven, and we'll see how that works out for us. Hostile Desert, exile it, a land card from your graveyard rather, and it becomes a 3/4 until end of turn. Not that solid here. If you have lots and lots of deserts, like Hashep, Oasis, Desert of the True, then you can maybe make this into a 3/4 more often than once, but that's not exactly the plan we're looking for just yet. Oasis Ritualist is pretty solid. This lets you fix your mana pretty easily, so I would very much like this, but also the Oasis is pretty great. Target creature for 3 mana, sack a desert, to give a creature +3/+3 until end of turn. Unfortunately, only works as a sorcery. With that in mind, do we just want to take the Ritualist here? I think we actually do. I really like that desert, but if we're trying to be aggressive and we're trying to play 3 colors, I think it's worth going for the Ritualist here. Fraying Sanity, pretty awesome curse. Artwork is awesome. The card itself, not so great in a limited format, more likely a constructed deck where you're likely to have lots and lots of things of that nature. I guess it works with the Tome Scour variant, compelling argument from Amonkhet, but either way. Vile Manifestation, 2 mana for 0/4, gets bigger for each card with cycling in your graveyard, and it itself can cycle. Again, pretty sweet artwork. And Reed Stalker, Nephalia Seakite with Warrior added to the type there. I think it's between like a Harrier Naga, just to stay in our color. 3/3 for 3, pretty much definition of a vanilla on-curve creature there, and a Steadfast Sentinel. Nothing here I'm really all that excited about. Just going to take the Naga for now. Imaginary Threats. Creatures that your opponent controls must attack, and then they don't untap afterwards. Pretty decent. In a very control-y defensive deck, I suppose. If you're able to fog them, even better. Probably going to look at the Desert or the Sandwalla here. Just a 1/1 for 1 that you can use your mana effectively to make a 3/3 on turn 2 if you have nothing better to do. Not exactly where we want to be. I'll just take the desert for now. Also, Traveler's Amulet. I guess I can't discount that exactly, since we are kind of looking at playing a third color. Not sure which it is just yet as our splash, but I'll just take the desert for now. Abandoned Sarcophagus. Again, another card that looks like it could be interesting in a constructed deck. Cards with cycling, you can cast them from your graveyard, but if they go from the battlefield to the graveyard, they're exiled, so you can't just recur them over and over again. Life goes on, a little bit of life gain. Manolith, not exactly what we want if we're trying to play somewhat aggressively, so I think we're just going to take the Survivor's Encampment. Again, this fixes our colors here pretty nicely. Works well if we're playing a lot of early creatures like the Sandwalla. But I think we're going to take the Naga instead. I like the 3-slot on our curve. I like that to be full of powerful and impactful creatures, and we already have a pair of deserts that will turn this into a 4/2 with trample. Pretty decent for a 3-mana creature. There's yet another desert, a couple of zombies, a hippo, 5/6 with trample, also can cycle. Don't want to go overboard on these deserts exactly because they do come into play tapped. They do have a downside. I think it's between the hippo and that. And yeah, I'm going to take the hippo for now. Probably could get another desert pretty easily over the next couple of packs. We'll see. Another cycle, search your deck for a basic land, put it on the battlefield tapped. That's pretty decent in a ramp deck. Can just cycle it away if nothing else. And it does find our third color. Also another 3/2 for 3 mana. That has a lifelink as well if there are some deserts. I'll take the Beneath the Sands for now, I think. We don't really need the Mummy. I don't expect us to have a zombie synergy really flowing here, so. Claim to Fame, Desert, Graven Abomination, Tragic Lesson. I don't really think we are on the 4-color plan. Desert as well. I think we can just leave these colors available to. I'll take the split, the Aftermath card for now, I guess. But yeah, send a sign to a person on our left that blue is open for them. I'll take the Camel now, although I really am reluctant to play. And take a God Pharaoh. Oops. Faithful. And a Graven Abomination. Alright. Not the most impressive start to our draft here, but we're looking for cats for the Pride Sovereign. See if we can pick some up in the next 2 packs. Ambuscade is pretty solid, as is Torment of Venom. Premium removal spell, I would say. Abrade, fantastic card as well. And of course, probably one of the most premium of removal spells. Basically, Final Reward for 4 mana that also hits all gods if they were in hand or, yeah, just in hand. So I don't expect our opponent to have multiple gods, but in any case, now is really the decision time. Ambuscade is the safest card to take here. It works pretty well when we're playing lots of powerful creatures, instant speed. It's one-sided also. Your creature deals damage to theirs, but theirs does not strike back. So also instant speed combat trick to pump up your trampling hippo or something. That's pretty devastating. But Hour of Glory is just a simple, clean 4 mana to exile any creature. Haven't really settled yet. We're white or black. Haven't seen anything either way. I'm just going to take the Ambuscade here. If we build our deck correctly, this is almost as powerful as a Final Reward. It opens us up to getting 2 for 1, I guess. But yeah, more often than not, this is just going to do the same thing, minus the Exile clause for 1 less mana. Gideon's Defeat, Chefnet Dunes, these are pretty great. Again, only works as a sorcery. Another desert. The Apocalypse Demon. He is as big and powerful as each number of card in your graveyard. And you have to tap him or sacrifice another creature. So he works well with maybe like a zombie token heavy deck. There's another Harrier Naga, an Act of Heroism, and then the Dunes. I kind of like the Dunes. We've already got 2 deserts to work with them. And if we're going wide, then Dunes are what we want. And we already have a couple of powerful 3-drops already, so just take the land for now. Ooh, here we go. Driven to Despair. I'll come back to that in a moment, but Appeal to Authority. Creature gets trample and bigger based on the number of creatures you have, and then you can tap your opponent's creatures and gain vigilance for your own. Another Naga, Mummy Paramount. Not much else here, but Driven to Despair, again fitting into our 3-color theme here. Till end of turn, your creatures gain trample, and whenever they connect with the opponent, you draw a card. Aftermath, they gain menace, and whenever they connect with the opponent, they discard a card. The opponent does. So that seems like the pick here. And fortunately, the first half this time is green. The better half, I think, that we're going to want more often. So I'm definitely taking that. Still haven't settled yet whether we are predominantly green, black, or green, white. Another Apocalypse Demon, an Obelisk Spider, and Carrion, Screecher, Desert, etc. Lots of stuff that we want. Lethal Sting. There's actually I guess a minor chance that one of these comes back to us. Very unlikely. Very unlikely. They'd have to take Proven Combatant, Manalith, Desert, and Abomination. It's going to come down to like Kindled Fury, Abomination, and Manalith probably, but we'll see. But dang, another Apocalypse Demon to go with the final reward. I think we're going to take the Spider here. I think it's the most impactful card. Works well in a green-white deck, even if we're just splashing for the 1 black. A couple of other minor black cards here. Lethal Sting is also quite solid, but yeah, I think we just have to take the Spider here. Kenra Eternal, Mummy Paramount, probably between those. Refuse to Cooperate. Deal damage to a spell's controller equal to its converted mana cost. Great if you're like trying to cast a Rampaging Hippo, take 6 damage. And then Aftermath, you can copy instants and sorceries. Interesting, interesting. Oh, also a Dauntless Aven, which is good for giving vigilance and untapping your exerted creatures. Is that better than getting a 2/2 for 2 here? We're not playing zombies, so it's really just a on-curve creature, of which we only have 1 currently. So I think we're going to take the Aven. We can likely... Green and white are packed full of playable 2/2 drops, 2/2s, and 1/1s that grow. So I think we're going to just go for the stronger card here. Works really well with all the exerters as well. Traveler's Amulet, Unraveling Mummy, the ultimate of zombie synergy. Attacking zombies gain lifelink or death touch. Very, very strong, and it could be an indication that white-black zombies is open. Somebody on our right is going to have a phenomenal zombie deck based on all of the Apocalypse Demons and final rewards and whatnot going through. We may just take the Traveler's Amulet here. Still no cats, unfortunately, for us to take, but this will hopefully solidify our 3-colorness here. Pretty decent. 5 mana for a 4/4 with Vigilance and Reach. Again, Sandwalla, Renunciation, not really what we need. Saving Grace, not what we need. I think I'm just going to take the Sharpshooters here. Let's see if we can sort that better, and then put these down this way. Alright. The Dunes came back, as did Farm. I don't think we're going to be playing a 4th color. We could just incidentally be able to cast Market, draw 2 cards, discard 2 cards off of our Ritualist or Survivor's Encampment. I don't think it's worth playing a single island for this, even if we could fetch it with a Traveler's Amulet. Our mana is going to be constrained enough already. It's between Sandblast and just taking Farm to be able to destroy a creature. That seems fine. This is just better than Sandblast, I think. Yeah, I'm just going to take that. Oh. Somehow I think I might have just spammed a pick on Active Heroism, which might not be the worst. We might play that as well, but I'm going to just side it for now. We did get the Farm to Market, fortunately, so I'm just going to slide that in. Another act. There's the Apocalypse Demon back again. Gideon's Defeat. I guess we take that for the sideboard. And Appeal to Authority came back. All the Aftermath cards we could ever want. It's playable, I guess. I don't think that we really need it, whereas we do kind of want to have early drops now with things like, I'll get to them in a moment. I'm going to take the Servants here. With things like Driven to Despair, Survivor's Encampment, we do want to have early creatures to play so that we can make use of them doing such things as drawing cards or tapping for mana. Refuse to Cooperate, take a Manalith. Not going to play it, but I'll take it anyway. Tap up to 2 target creatures and cycling. Okay, so we're going to need some help in this last pack. We haven't really gotten a big payoff for going any of our colors just yet. There's the first cat we've seen. Hazaret's Favor, not especially useful. Bone Picker is probably the strongest card here. Looking at Gustwalker, Winged Shepherd, Fanbearer, Sacred Cat. We'll probably wheel the cat, in all honesty. Magma Spray also, fantastic card. But I think we're just going to take the Gustwalker. It's a good card with what we're doing here. It's evasive for things like Driven, and we do still need to find those 2/2s and whatnot. Scaled Behemoth to round out our top of our curve. Watchful Naga, Final Reward. Quite a bit of good stuff here. I think it's probably just going to be the Behemoth. We are pretty secure, I think, in our 3 drops already. The Naga is great, especially with Dauntless Aven being able to untap it. But I think we do need just something that we can build up to and then safely hide behind, most likely. It's a good finisher, I think. Still looking for Sacred Cats, I guess, for our Sovereign. He is a 1-man army, or 1-cat army. All you need is a plains, and then over time he'll generate the cats themselves, but it is nice if we can get others to help along the way. I suppose with Active Heroism and all these exert creatures, this isn't the worst. Untap it, it can block multiple things. Don't think we'll be playing any of these others, however. We do have a bunch of deserts that we can bring in, fortunately. Beneath the Sands and Solitary Camel is other possibilities. Alright, Hepatra, the Vizier of Poisons. Deals combat damage to a player. You can put -1/-1 counters on any creature, a single one. And then when you do, you also get some snakes with Death Touch. Ruthless Sniper, Trueheart Duelist is probably stronger for what we're trying to do. Hepatra is great in a specific deck, but I do not think that is what we are. I think we are very much a green-white deck, just splashing black for the other half of Despair, Grind, and the Spider. Here, I think we're just going to take the Duelist. It's a phenomenal card. It's got ability to block stuff, and Embalm to bring it back later if it's on the curve, so I think we'll take that happily. Perch of the Second Sun, turn into a control deck here. Spring to Mind, essentially the same card as Beneath the Sands, just with cycling. Those Who Serve, Dissenter's Deliverance, Evolving Wilds, which is probably the pick. Approach is interesting and all, but yeah, I don't really think we're looking to steal games that way. So I think we're just going to take the Evolving Wilds and be happy with it. Censor, Anointer, Bitterblade, Fanbearer, and Haze of Pollen, some medium things. I think we're just going to take the Fanbearer most likely. We don't really have a token theme going for the Anointer. We already have plenty of powerful 2-drops. The Avenger, the Walker, the Duelist. Fanbearer is suitable removal spell. Kefnet is here. Cartouche of Strength. Time to Reflect. If we were in a zombie deck, probably take that. Kefnet is interesting. Actually, wonder, probably only worth like maybe 2-3 tickets at most. Cartouche of Strength, I think, is definitely better. Goes very nicely with things like the Behemoth and the Hippo and whatnot. I guess we do have to pass on the God, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm just going to take the Cartouche for now. Actually, could have maybe played Kefnet and actually gone for an island to play Market as well, but I think we'll be okay with what we have. Stinging Shot, Jerry's Resolve, Time to Reflect. I just think I want to take the cycle land here and actually be happy with it. It's always good when you find a dual land, rare, to play in your 3-color deck. It's actually on color. Another Spring to Mind, Zenith Seeker, a couple of medium things here. Not going to play it, but I guess we'll take the Spring to Mind for now. Not really expecting to wheel too much. I think pack 1, the very, very first pack that we opened up, I think had some things in it we'd be happy to see again, but we'll see when they come around. I think that's this next pick. So we got a little bit of help in the last pack here, some decent things. This is our first pack. Sacred Cat came back. I don't know if it's actually worth playing just for the Pride Sovereign. Unfortunately, he doesn't give other cats +1/+1 like the other does. The rare 5-drop cat here, Caracal, I think. But what else would we even take? Nothing much, really. And it fits the same theme as the Frilled Sandwalla. Something to play early to make use of all these Aftermath cards that care about having things in play, I guess. I think it's worth doing. Benefaction to get back creatures and enchantments from the top of our deck. Don't really need that. Sunscorch. Take a Scorpion, I guess. Yeah, nobody really wanted the Zenith Seekers. They're going late. I doubt we play the Kudu, but might as well grab it. Gate to the Afterlife to pour salt in the wound of whoever opened up Godpharaoh's gift. Now they cannot play it. Haze of Pollen and Benefaction. Alright. So I think these are the 23 cards we're going to be playing. The spells. See what our creature curve looks like exactly. It's not too bad, I guess. So we're definitely more green than black. We're only playing black for the Spider, for Despair, and for where'd our other Aftermath card go? Did it get moved away? Oh, there it is. It was hiding under because the grind is. I guess it has a mana cost of 6 because of that new rule. Grind and dust together. So we're really only playing black to grind a couple of counters out, to maybe discard some cards, and for the Spider, of course, hold off the air. Got a pretty decent curve. If we can just get to 6 mana, so I think we do want to play the full 17 lands, especially with like Traveler's Amulet to thin them out a little bit, and duels and deserts and whatnot. Evolving Wilds even. Some of the best mana fixing I've ever had in a Amonkhet block draft. Don't think we need the Camel or the Kudu or even like Manalith or Spring to Mind, so I think I like the way it is actually. Active Heroism is probably one of the weakest cards in our deck, but it kind of works with Ambuscade and Cartouche. We want to make sure that power is high and can use it to save some of our guys. Works well with Exert. So yeah, it's not the strongest deck, but I think it'll do. Let's go ahead and add all this in. Let's see, we got a green-white source, a green and a white, 2 colorless land, or 2 ideally either color that we need. Evolving Wilds less so than the encampment, so we need 12 more. Let's see what they recommend. 1 swamp to fetch with a Traveler or Evolving Wilds, and then the rest of this looks pretty good actually. That's only 11 lands. Am I missing something? Let's see. We've got 3, 5, 11, 15, 16. So we got enough room for 2 more lands then. Probably white. Let's count up our color sources. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And a whole bunch of others. That can't be right. Let's cut both those planes and make them into, well, 1 and 1. Hedge our bets. There's still 18 lands though. I suppose we are mostly green, but all of our early drops for the most part are white, so I will cut the forest actually. Alright, let's combine these once more and take a last look at it. All of our Aftermath cards, I'm excited to see how they perform. Yeah, let's run this out and see how it goes. Stay tuned everyone, match 1 coming right up. Alrighty, match 1 on the play. Go ahead and see what our first hand looks like. Pretty aggressive, I'd say. We only have 2 lands, but fortunately we are able to make use of them. We can actually play out Gustwalker and Avenger. We can even use one of them to fix our mana for that missing green source, and we can always cycle away the Rampaging Hippo. So I think this is definitely a keeper. Our opponent has an excellent choice of avatar. I must say I approve. Alright, let's see how aggressive we can be. I think I'm just going to play out the Avenger on the play. If we were on the draw, maybe the Gustwalker. Oh, okay. Well, that makes it easy, actually. With a Fan Bearer, I'm just going to play out the Gustwalker then. Can actually attack into the Fan Bearer there. Opponent's probably just going to play a land, though, and tap our guy down. Wow, this is closer than I care to. Green-white for a Feral Prowler. That's the cat we were looking for. When it dies, draw a card. Okay. And we found the land, fortunately. We could attack and then just farm that, but that seems like a waste, so I think we're just going to attack and then play out the Aven. We get to exert. Unfortunately, this doesn't quite work here, I believe, next turn. We won't be able to untap this guy and attack again, but we can work it other ways. Turn after that, it'll work. So we're going to attack for 3 in the air, and then play out the Aven, because he has no blocker for it. And then we've got removal, we've got more things to play out, things to look forward to. So this is shaping up to be an okay hand. He's got to actually tap creatures to generate green mana still, unlike us. So if he wants to use his Fan Bearer, that's going to hamstring his mana a little bit. He's actually just getting in there with them both. Okay. We're racing here. I'll go ahead and let that through. Like the interaction between the Aven and a Catcher's Avenger. Can just attack, exert it, it's indestructible. Same thing with Gustwalker. Okay, that looks like a Sandblast to me. That doesn't make much sense, but I'm fairly confident that's what it is. So we could play around it and just wait and then start attacking with like a Catcher's Avenger and see if he wants to hold up all that mana. Yeah, I hate to pass like this because we have to get in there eventually, but that's almost certainly a Sandblast or something to that effect. So we're just going to play it safe, play out this guy, or this lady, and then see what our opponent does. Probably going to attack with everything this turn. This at least can attack with indestructibility. Or no, this prevents all combat damage, not actually indestructible. So you can still Sandblast her. Unfortunately. Opponent's still with no natural green mana. Going to use the Fan Bearer most likely this turn. If they do, then they can't Sandblast. See how that goes. Might unfortunately need to cycle this guy at some point. We could actually mark it, funnily enough. Draw 2, discard 2. We'll see what happens, though. 2/3 with Vigilance and Eternalize. Okay, that seems fine. We could get really aggressive here. Attack with everything. And probably exert this back. No, exert the Gustwalker back. Yeah, I think we're racing here. So let us exert, attack and exert. Untap the Gustwalker, that way we can block Fan Bearer and Feral Prowler. We're just taking 2 damage. And we can even play out the Trueheart Duelist if we want to. Yeah, that seems fine. Okay, all the triggers. We're hitting for like 5, maybe 8 this turn. Yeah, okay. After that, Duelist can't really get through, doesn't really block that well either, but I don't really want to, well, we could cycle the Hippo looking for our 4th land, and then next turn maybe play Sharpshooters. We also have Farm to market, farm half at least, but don't want to use it on any of those. This could be questionable, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and look for another land. Okay, Ambuscade is a pretty good draw too. And at least we can kind of plan that in our next turn. Our opponent can now Fan Bear and Sandblast us, sadly. But only hitting us for 2 a turn. Not that bad. See if they just pass with all that mana up, or if they're going to play something. If I had these cats, I would be very happy with them. Okay, we also found the Sovereign. That works nicely with the Aven. Huh. Let's go to attacks and see if they use the Fanbearer or not. I suspect they will. And then we can attack with the other to get them to Sandblast, and then we can play out the Pride Sovereign, maybe. I'd like to keep our Aven around to work really well with the Pride Sovereign, but we'll see what happens. Oh, okay. So no attacks there, sadly. Yeah, we may as well attack. Get the Sandblast out of his hand. Go right ahead. We have a cat army coming momentarily. There's not a whole lot of ways that he can remove it, short of like his own ambuscade or something. We'll see what he's got. Find any land, then we can ambuscade while also using the Sovereign, make this guy a 4/4, 5/4 with ambuscade. We can maybe untap with the Aven if he doesn't use the Fanbearer. Not even going to represent the block or the trick here. That's fine. See what we draw, what our opponent's got. If they have nothing else. Okay, so we can Sovereign Ambuscade. I think I will move to combat in that case. Opponent didn't do anything, so we get to freely attack with the Aven and untap this guy like that. We might as well attack with this because we're going to have a bunch of life-linking cats in a moment. So I think I like this. So let's untap the Sovereign, and then before that resolves, we'll use the Sovereign. Make some cats. Untap again. Could actually use his ability again, make him super powerful. And we still have Ambuscade, Farm, and Duelist that we can use if we wish it. Alright, he wants to throw away the cat to cash in for a card. That is fine. Surprised he let the Aven attack. Alright. So I don't really want to, this is exerted. If I use this ability again, it's still exerted, and of course it'll not untap then. If I tap it for any reason, not just the exert, but even for like the encampment. Using our mana most efficiently would be to like ambuscade the Fanbearer, and then get in there next turn. And then that way we also get to hold up like farm and whatnot, so I think I like that. Could play out the Duelist, but again, it doesn't really accomplish much. See what our opponent does here, just cycling maybe. Tap so I don't untap, of course, yeah, that does work too. So I could tap it down to get more cats. Could ambuscade that away. Let's just get more cats. So I need white mana. Excuse me, something in my throat. Alright, so we're going to get lots and lots of cats. This guy is really big. They all lifelink, so our opponent can't really even attack into us anymore. Or we'll just offset the loss of life with cats. Unfortunately, our opponent will get to Fanbear our Pride Sovereign, or rather, Fanbear our Dauntless Aven to prevent it from untapping the Pride Sovereign. Opponent's attacking for 2, that is fine. Just rather keep my cats. We could have put 3 in front of it, but not really much of a point to it yet. We can move to combat, declare attacks. Our opponent has to decide if he's going to use the Fanbear before then, or if he wants to leave it back as a blocker. And then we get to ambuscade as well. Still have 6 cards in hand, so they must have something over there. If they just tap out for a big thing that we can kill with the Pride Sovereign, then we're in excellent shape. Okay, just a mediocre beast. It's fine. Our 5th land, we could ambuscade and Duelist here. I think we are going to move to combat. And it is likely time that we kill the Fanbearer. So, let that go. Unfortunately, he doesn't have lifelink. I would love to ambuscade to kill the Fanbearer and gain like 7 life. But here, we're going to play the Duelist, and then ambuscade to remove that Fanbearer, I think. Could do it now while he's tapped out. Yeah. Gain some life while we're at it. Opponent still has a bunch of cards in hand. Hopefully no cartouche. Get to pull back their trial, killing like our Aven, pull back their trial, replay it. That'd be pretty good. If they have the mana for it, and they just scoop. They don't bother. Okay. Oh, we even found the cat to pump the Sovereign. Okay, so our opponent has trouble dealing with permanents that are already in play and not attacking with them. Just like Sandblast is all he had. So, we want things that encourage that. It's not really a whole lot here, but I think Gideon's Defeat is definitely worth playing. Just a 1 mana to destroy something. It's only attacking creatures, I believe. Yeah, or blocking. So we can't use it to get rid of the Fanbearer, but there are other things. What do we not need here against that? I mostly like everything that we have, actually. Dutiful Servants actually does a nice job of blocking the 4/2 token from the Trial of Strength, so I kind of want to keep it. The rest of this is pretty solid. Sand Wall I don't really care for. Yeah, we'll just see how that goes. Could have also seen maybe siding out a land, but we saw how we kind of need those. Maybe the cat was actually the cat was probably better to side out. Gonna keep this hand though. Probably gonna end up cycling the Scattered Groves. But yeah, we were a little short on land last game, and a bunch of 5s and 6s stranded in our hand, so in an effort not to repeat that, I think next turn we'll just cycle this. We can play Harrier Naga, and we're getting close to where Driven will be worth just casting with only a couple creatures out. Okay, this is working out well enough. Shall attack. Yeah, just gonna cycle this turn. Could have cashed that in for a single card, but that's hardly worth it. Especially when we already have several things to do. Okay, Trial of Strength. Let's see if we can find anything good here. Just some dunes. Okay, Behemoth, I like that actually. We just play out the Naga. We can afford to take the hit. We'll offset some of the life loss maybe later with this cat. But, yeah. Don't really want to throw away my creatures when I have Driven here, and I can always just farm it later. Maybe even next turn. Take the hit. Can offset some of the life loss with the cat. Fanbearer. And tap an Untapped Desert. Okay, 2/3. Interesting. And I guess I could have played the oh, never mind, it's 4 mana. So as long as I have double white next turn, it'll be fine. Here I can hold this back to block the Dune Diviner. I think we're likely just going to use farm on the beast here. So I could attack with both and embalm this back if he goes for the block. If not, I can also farm to kill like a Fanbearer or something I think is going to be annoying, but that doesn't seem really worth doing. I'm just going to go for the farm here. Take out the beast token. 2 more turns and we'll have Scaled Behemoth at the ready. We have 2 deserts that we can use Shefet Dunes to good effect, especially with Driven to Despair. So I kind of like our spot. Use up our mana. Just taking a measly 2 damage this turn. Alright, do want to stop drawing lands. Opponent's probably just going to fan bear our now. Oh, maybe not. I'm going to attack with it because end of turn he can just tap it down and then it can't block anyway. May as well. It's unfortunate we don't have a sweet 5-drop to play. Opponent's just going to tap down the cat maybe. Yep. Shafet Dunes, sacrifice creature or desert creatures you control get +1/+1. That might be relevant when we have our Pride Sovereign out, generating an army of cats. It's pretty great actually. And then, yeah, here we're just gonna play the Behemoth, and there's not a whole lot he can do about it. Can't tap it down with Fan Bearer, can't Dune Blast it, can't block it without like the Trial of Strength token. And just playing things that a cat can block seems good to me. Alright, yeah, just gonna move to combat, get tapped down. That means our cat can't be tapped, that's good. Not that it really matters. And then play the big guy. Can attack with maybe this next turn. I really want to get rid of this Fan Bearer before we go for the Driven to Despair. Also be nice if we could find black mana naturally, not have to use our Survivor's Encampment, because that takes one of our creatures out of combat. And that means no drawing a card and no discarding a card. But we're getting to the point where we can just make them discard their whole hand with the Naga and the Behemoth anyway. So looking for a way to get rid of that Fan Bearer. Just passes combat and plays out a medium creature. Okay. More land. I think we can safely cycle this first. Let's do that. We could still even use the Dunes if we wanted to. Gustwalker, might as well just play that out. He works well with Driven to Despair. So, let's move to combat. I'm not going to use this just yet. And opponent's going to tap down our Naga at the end of the turn anyway. This way we're just trading it for the Catcher's Avenger probably. I think this is fine. He's gonna tap it down, then that way we get to use the Sacred Cat to deter like the Catcher's Avenger from attacking us or something. Or he just goes for a really big block. That also works too. I hadn't even considered that, to be honest. So we get to kill 2 of these and leave 1 behind. I think I might just leave the Exerter. Unfortunately, I can only activate this as a sorcery. And these are both sorceries as well. So, that was unexpected. Opponent just brazenly, without even concern with any one of our tricks. But I think it's best to kill both of these so that the cat can potentially get through if I pump it up with Dunes. But yeah, that may have been a mistake. At the very least, I could have pumped it first with the Dunes. But now we shall play this out. Probably Harrier Naga gets tapped down. We can put the cat in front of the Avenger. And then next turn we can maybe set up a Driven to Despair. I can use the cat to block, getting him to exert it, gaining some life back, and then also just embalm this and use it for the encampment. I think that's fine. Now it's out of commission for the next turn as well. See what else our opponent has for us here. Ambuscade would be pretty nice for getting rid of this guy. And then we can really set up a nice Driven to Despair. Okay, just a 3/3. Ooh. So we can actually do both of these this turn, each of up to 2. we can kill both of those and then still get in there for a little bit. That seems fine to me. So how does this work? We've got enough mana, I think. 3, 6, 7. Yeah, more than enough. So we're going to Embalm the cat. Setting up for next turn, we're going to go for Driven to Despair, I think, when he has nothing that can block, because they're going to be all menaced. And we'll get to draw a bunch of cards, too. So now, put -1/-1 counters on those guys. Using this to tap for black. With this and this. I think we will grind our opponent into the dust now. We don't have the most power on board necessarily, but we're about to insurmountable advantage of cards coming, I think, and they don't have exactly much either. So we'll just get to use all of our aftermath cards and draw more cards. It's like we're just casting multiple spells. Probably could have played the forest this turn because we're expecting to maybe draw as much as like 3 cards. I think our creatures will all get through. They're all going to be menaced, most likely. So we'll take all of our opponent's cards away and refill our hand. And maybe we will want to have played more spells this turn. That's unfortunate. Could just keep attacking and then set this up for the following turn. Could go for it now. No, absolutely go for it now to get rid of those last cards, actually, of course. And we can use this guy to pay for the black mana now. I should have thought of that too. Alright, so let's do this. And then cast again for black with you and you. So now if we draw another 1-drop, I don't think we really have any, but in any case. We're only going to hit for 3 damage, but we'll take both of our opponent's cards, we'll draw 2, and then we'll play a 2/5. So I think we're going to be in great shape then. We're going to get sandblasted. So either way, our opponent loses all of his cards. And we still have a few. Not quite as dramatic as I'd hoped. Oh, there's the cat, though. The cat lord. I wouldn't mind playing out the dutiful servants there, because they can actually block this guy. But yeah, I want to grow my army before our opponent finds more action. And now we can just treat this as like an enchantment or something that spits out lifelinking cats every turn. I can always sack this whenever I really need to, but for now it is my black mana source. Alright, so we want to use the cat, and we want to play Hippo out. I think that sounds good to me. Could have tapped mana better, but I don't think it really matters. No attacks just yet. So our opponent has to have like a cartouche to be anywhere remotely close to getting out of this. The source an opponent controls steals 1 less. Okay, that is good at blanking our cats until we sacrifice some dunes. So it's honestly not that bad. And of course we still get to attack with the hippo and whatnot. Alright, there's our swamp, so this guy's not that important anymore. We can still attack with hippopotamus. Opponent can trade both his creatures for it, that's fine. It's actually going to do it, okay. I'm okay with that. We've got lethal coming in a couple turns. Just play out the rest of these, thin our deck. Again, we could have used the dunes there to save our thing, even if he had blocked it successfully. But I think we're just going to go for it in a turn or two. Back-to-back turns of it should be more than enough to close this game out. We have a spider now too. Is that lethal, actually, if we pump them? Yeah, that is lethal. So he's actually he has to block the sovereign then. So let's just... don't need the encampment anymore. This way we can do this again. Although, should have kept my black mana to play my spider. Got to be a little more cautious with that. My mistake. Don't think it makes a difference though. So he's going to take 2, 3, 4, 5. And then could have played the spider out. Unfortunately, did not. Opponent is just drawing spell after spell, but it's not going to be enough. I think that's lethal if we just pump everything up. So, yeah, he has to block this. I don't even have to do anything. I can just attack with these guys. But let's be fancy and keep our cat lord alive. He deserves better than that. Attack with all, and that's game. All right, so we're moving on to the next match in just a moment. Thanks for watching, everyone. The deck is performing fairly well so far.